Hi, I'm Jeremy and I'm your host of Tell Me Wine TV, where we try to answer your questions about wine right here on the internet. And today's question was sent in by Leroy from New Canaan, Connecticut, who asks, what are the best vintages for Bordeaux? And there are many, Leroy. And the most recent ones, 2005 and 2000, being very good years. I'll also say, Leroy, that a lot of this has to do with marketing. I'm sure. I'm sure, a great vintage is when Mother Nature cooperates and produces, a warm, dry fall that allows the grapes to mature on the vine and gives the producers or the growers enough time to take the grapes off the vine without rain. Of course, just so the sun takes the grapes and concentrates them, and if it happens to rain, it's like adding water to your glass of wine, or if there's hail or wind or any of these things that can affect the harvest, that will affect the quality of the vintage. Most recently, 2005 and 2000 were both exceptional years. But going back further, 95 was exceptional, 1990 was exceptional, 89 was exceptional, 82 was exceptional, 61 was exceptional. So there are a lot of exceptional years. But the fact of the matter is, if the producer is good at what they do, they can make good wine in almost any vintage. And that's what you really need to pay attention to, because it's real easy to go out and buy the great vintages if you've got the money. It's a little harder to figure out who's making the good wine in the not so good vintages. I will never turn down a glass of Chateau Margaux 2004 or whatever. It might be a little young, but the producers of great Bordeaux estates are going to consistently try to work with what they have to make the best possible wines. Again, when these greater vintages occur, there actually happens to be more wine because the harvest was a good one or a great one. But you're also going to pay a premium for 2005 or 2000 or 95 or 1990. So you can use them as a guide. I would say, when it's a good year, you should probably look at the smaller chateau estates, the less popular ones, or the ones that are not as well known, to get your vintage, your wines from that particular vintage. And in an off year like 2001 or 2002 or 2004, go back to the big names, and maybe you'll get a bargain. So. I also personally feel there's a bit of marketing that goes into it. Specifically, I remember between 2000 and 2005, 2000 was the vintage of the century. 2003 was then considered vintage of the century. 2005 was the vintage of the century. It's like, how many vintages of the century can we actually have? So again, use it as a guide. And just because it was a good year in Bordeaux doesn't necessarily mean it was a good year in Burgundy or Rhone or any other place around the world. So also vintages, you can't use them universally for all wines around the world. Amazingly, 2005 was great all over France, but you could, 100 miles away, 150 miles away in another wine region, you may not get the same conditions for growing grapes. So use it as a guide. If you're lucky enough to be able to drink a 61 Margaux or a 82 Latour or one of the great ones, remember it. Take a picture with you in the bottle. Probably it'll be the last time you and that bottle will ever be together. But yeah. So I think I answered your question. So thanks for sending that in, Leroy. And keep sending your questions in to Tell Me Wine TV.